All right, guys, welcome back. This is Rodrigo, founder with Asheville Real Estate News, and really excited about today's episode. We're talking about home inspections and what role they play in selling your house from a seller's perspective. Personally, I know when I've gone to sell a house before, I always get nervous about getting that home inspection report back or that email from the agent going in and out of what the details are, what they found, or what's there. So we're going to get into that a little bit today and see what information as a seller you need to know, how to maybe interpret things, and what it all really means. So today I am with Justin Berger with Home Inspection Collective, and we're going to get into those details. Justin, welcome.
Hey, thank you. I'm a big fan of the show.
Oh, appreciate it. So obviously you do home inspections and you live in Asheville at the moment, but let's take a step back and talk about how you got into both of those things. Like, when did you move to Asheville? How'd you get here? And how'd you get into home inspections?
Yeah, great question. I moved to Asheville back in 1998. Okay. I'm from Utah originally.
Oh, really?
And I got a soccer scholarship to Mars Hill College, which is university now. Right. And really fell in love with Asheville and the culture and the surrounding areas. I love the outdoors. I love to mountain bike and hike and camp. And so I made Asheville my home. So I've been
stuck around afterwards.
Yep, absolutely. I got into home inspections. I was a project manager for a local builder here in town. And I was recruited by a few other home inspectors to jump ship from building and go to home inspections. And as part of that recruiting process, I did condos, I did homes in the Ramble and the Biltmore Forest, beautiful homes.
Yeah.
And after being on a few inspections, I thought, okay, I can do this. It sounds like fun. And then once I actually got into home inspections, I realized that it's not all condos and $1 million homes. There's some nasty crawl spaces and really hot attics that I have to get into. But it's been great. I'm going on my 5th year now doing home inspections here in Asheville.
Yeah. There's definitely some very not pleasant crawl spaces and hot attics. I definitely share that sentiment. So actually, when I moved to Asheville, I went to Montreat College, and one of the reasons I moved there is to play soccer too. I wasn't on a scholarship or anything, but they're like, yeah, if you show up, you can probably figure out a place to play and whatnot. So I ended up playing on their JV team for a little bit, but stuck around for the same thing. I was like, it's the mountains, it's beautiful here. So home inspections from a seller's perspective, typically, at least when I got into real estate, a lot of the information out there is about, like, as a buyer, why you need them and whatnot, and this important role that they play in buying a house. What's the role that they play in selling your house?
Well, that's a really good question. I would say that 75% of the home inspections I do are on the buyer's side. But that trend, since I started, was 100% on the buyer side. And over the course of 5 years, it's now starting to shift to where sellers are doing more. It's called a pre-listing inspection. And from what I've been talking to with agents, a deal usually falls through because of one of two reasons. Either the home doesn't appraise, or it's because something is found within the home that the buyers don't feel right to move forward with the purchase of the house. And so sellers are now taking a little bit more control into trying to identify some problem areas with a home that could potentially scare a buyer away. And so I do a ton more pre-listing inspections.
Yeah, that's the term y'all are using?
Correct.
Yeah. And is there any difference in what you do when it's a pre-listing inspection versus like a normal home inspection?
No, the process is the same. The same components are checked. I would probably say that the communication between myself and my client kind of shifts a little bit more. On the buyer side, I try to provide useful information to them for future repairs. So the age of the roof or the age of the heating system. And so I try to map out some potential repairs moving forward. But on the seller side, they're really not that interested in how much longer the roof is going to last. They're a little bit more concerned with some big ticket items, foundation issues, water issues, things that, again, would scare a buyer away.
They don't want to get caught surprised with something that they have to address, right?
Correct.
I always heard that, or I've heard this saying that the home inspection, when you're doing the pre-listing, is almost like looking at yourself in the mirror before you decide to go out. right? Like you kind of get a feel for where you are and how you look, and it allows you to put your best foot forward.
Absolutely.
Have you found any trends in the pre-listing inspections that you do? Like, wow, like it's pretty common for people to not think about this area of their house or whatnot.
No, not really.
Okay.
Yep. So I would say the biggest thing, especially for a home inspector, is when you do a pre-listing inspection, you understand that there's a chance that another home inspector is going to come back behind you, and so you really need to be on your A game.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that
throughout the entire process, because again, you're there to provide information for your clients. And always having an inspector come back behind you, you're always questioning, okay, did I miss something? Did I miss something big? And so there's a little additional pressure that I know that I put on myself when I do a pre-listing inspection. I mean, I go into every inspection with a mentality that I'm going to find everything that I possibly can that's wrong with this home.
Right.
But I also understand that I'm a human, and every home inspector is, and things do get missed.
Yeah, of course.
But for me, there's just a little bit more pressure doing a pre-list inspection because I know someone's coming back behind me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And as you mentioned though, like, because how much of that is subjective versus like objective when you're looking at a home inspection? Like obviously you turn the light switch on, the light comes on or off. That's it's pretty clear cut. But how much of it is just like personal opinion on stuff?
That plays a big role into it. Again, it depends on. So if we get into a situation that you have a seasoned home inspector going and taking a look at a home versus someone that's new into the inspection world, the reports are going to be completely different. The verbiage is going to be different because more seasoned home inspectors have a little bit better understanding about components and the implications of some of the issues that might be going on. A new home inspector that comes in, I mean, they list everything out, they call everything out, and they really don't understand that to focus on the big ticket items versus some windows and doors that might need some minor adjustment, to lock. But so it being subjective, I mean, that's exactly what we do, is we're providing an opinion to our clients as to the condition of the home or any component in the house. But the objective view of that is if, let's say that I say that there's some damaged shingles on the roof and some of those shingles need to be replaced. Right. A roofing contractor is not in the business of providing a subjective opinion on a roof. He's there to tear off your roof and install a new roof. Right. And so there's definitely some challenges in what we say based on potential findings to what a subcontractor might say when they go out, because they're in the business of making repairs.
They're not going to go out there and put 2 shingles on or whatever.
No, they're going to tell you need a new roof and
take it all the way.
Yeah, they're going to take it all the way. And they're going to upsell you on a metal roof or a slate roof. And I don't blame them. I would do the same thing if I was in their boat. But
and that is always the balancing act when it comes to real estate and improvements / repairs, right?
It's
like, how much do you do, and what's the value benefit versus just the aesthetic or emotional appeal that something's going to carry?
That's true.
You said you did a project management for this builder, right?
Yes.
How much of that experience has served you in what you do now, and is there anything that you were really like, wow, I'm really glad I had those specific instances that have carried over?
Yeah, so I have a fairly broad construction background, and I get asked all the time if I'm a licensed general contractor, and I'm not. Right. And I don't have to be, or you don't have to be a home inspector here in our state. It does give you a little bit of street cred if you are, but I think that having an understanding about how things work and the implications of certain things has served me well, because I've been a carpenter, I've been a painter, I've been a subcontractor, I've been a siding contractor. I mean, I've done all those things. I'm renovating my own house right now. It's a 1935 farmhouse out in Candler that I'm renovating. So having a better understanding about how things work allows me to provide my clients a little bit more information than what another home inspector might.
Well, it's the difference also, like, obviously you have the book knowledge, but then you also have the hands-on knowledge, and I'm sure that there's something to be said about that.
Well, that's right. So the main job of a home inspector is to identify deficiencies. Right. And so it's not for us to interpret what might be happening with a house. Our job is to say there might be an issue and you should contact so-and-so to come out to evaluate it, to determine if repairs are needed or not. That's how most home inspectors work. Right. But because I have the experience and knowledge and the background, I don't mind throwing myself out there saying, there's a little damage here, but it doesn't seem to have an impact on the structure. Know about it. If you have a carpenter here, you can make some repairs, but it's not something that needs to be done immediately. And so
it's that difference between being aware of and like, hey, this needs to be addressed.
Correct. Yeah.
When a seller gets that email from their agent, or if they're doing a for sale by owner or whatnot, and they say, hey, we want to go over the inspection report because we found some things. Like, there's no surprise. There's always going to be something that's found, because houses always need to be adjusted and tweaked and repaired on, etc. Well, how seriously do you take like anything that's an inspection report, and like, what's the difference between, hey, be aware of this, and like, hey, this should be addressed before a sale?
Yeah, good question. So I take some additional steps that some inspectors choose not to, and that they're not qualified to take. But I try to help my clients prioritize repairs.
Okay.
Whether you're on the seller side or if you're on the buyer side. And so I've broken my reports down into 3 different categories. I have red items, which is, you can imagine, it's immediate attention items.
Do not sleep on that.
Just stay away from that deck.
Right.
So the red items are immediate attention items. Those are safety concerns. Those are plumbing leaks, roofing leaks, so anything that could cause or create immediate damage. And so I've been doing this long enough that I really try to focus more on those issues. And so that's the one item, is I have red items. Then I have some orange items, which are future repairs, maybe something isn't done quite right, or something that's worth noting, or valuable information for my clients. I highlight those in orange.
Could you give us an example of an orange item?
Yeah, an orange item would be if there's some missing shingles on the roof.
Okay.
And the roof is not leaking.
So it's functional, but not ideal.
If it's not leaking, is the roof still functioning as intended? The answer is yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
of course.
So as long as it's still functioning, but again, it's valuable information. So I would put some missing shingles into an orange category, or if there's some minor termite damage or moisture damage to a floor system, and it doesn't have an impact on the structure, I would put those items in orange. And then I have blue items, which are maintenance issues. And so those are usually related to if there's a small little plumbing leak under a faucet that's leaking and it's not getting into the cabinet, it's not going to damage anything, or if it's a gutter issue or a downspout that isn't functioning properly, those are maintenance issues, or loose siding, those are maintenance issues. And so being able to take some deficiencies within a home and categorize them, I can assist my clients better in how to prioritize some of those repairs.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure it's incredibly helpful, because it can be a little overwhelming when you just get a list of everything, and if you're not very familiar with the real estate world or whatnot, it's like, how do I even start? What should I do first, etc. So I'm sure there's a lot of appreciation on that end.
There is. There is.
That's true.
Yeah, because some clients will focus on one thing, and I'm just like, nope, over here. Come over here. Let's not be too concerned with a screen that's missing in an attic, or let's focus on some plumbing leaks, or let's focus on some moisture issues. So
no doubt. Personal question on this, like, I always find this conversation a little interesting, is what's a repair versus what's an improvement? It's like, what's an improvement versus something you're doing for yourself versus something you need to do. Because I get this question when I'm working with like a seller, for instance, and I'm like interested in buying their house. They're like, oh, I've got all this money into it. I'm like, fair enough, but like, your 30 foot deck wasn't really necessary, and it wasn't necessary, it was just something you wanted to do. It's like tinting the windows on your car. Do you get into that at all, as far as encouraging people to do improvements or anything like that during the pre-listing inspection?
I don't. I leave that up to the real estate agents.
Fair enough.
If someone asks me my personal opinion,
you'll give it.
If you like that paint color, it's either yes, I like it, or no, I don't.
Right, because that's part of it.
Yeah, but no, I go there again to provide an impartial, objective opinion on everything. And if someone asked me for my personal opinion, I would probably chime in a little bit. I mean, I've renovated and built several homes.
You've been around,
and I've been around. So if they ask me, and if they find value in my opinion on some of those things, I give it.
Right.
But no, I try. There's a fine line, and I try not to cross over into that, because Because they might take what I might say and start spending a bunch of money, and obviously it doesn't increase the value of the house. So I leave all that to agents.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You've been doing, you said 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. Has there been anything that has surprised you in those 5 years of being like, wow, I didn't think I'd run into this or whatnot?
Daily. It is. It's funny. I get asked that. A lot, and there's just this. It gets a little monotonous opening up windows and doors and checking outlets. I mean, half the time I can do that with my eyes closed, but it seems to be the interaction between myself and my clients or the agents is what really gets me excited. It keeps me on my toes about what I do. But there was this one inspection, and there was an alarm system. It was a condo, and anything that you could think of that you could tie this alarm system to was tied to the alarm system. So there was a alarm on the main electric panel. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I would have never
no. There was
gone there, but
there was an alarm on the refrigerator doors, on all the interior doors. There's cameras in the attics. So obviously this person had some
they'd had a bad experience at some point.
Bad
probably,
experience
right.
and wanted to feel safe and make sure that no one was stealing cookies out of the cookie jar. But for me it's about the interaction with people and meeting new people and new clients and it's being part of the buying or selling process is extremely rewarding, whether I'm helping a first-time home buyer getting into a house,
right.
or helping a family get from their first home into their forever home, or helping real estate investors buy real estate property. It's just a great business to be in, and I really enjoy the process and the interaction versus checking windows and doors, because like I said, it gets kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, I think no matter what you do, there's always that component that's just like the grudge work per se, where it is the monotonous, and then it's about how much you enjoy the other variables that you do that make it worthwhile to keep doing that. Just how do people get a hold of you if they have questions, or if they want you to come out, check out their home and get a 3-colored report? Which I haven't heard of that before. I think that's great. So.
Yeah. The best way to reach me is you can go to my website. It's homeinspectioncollective.com. You can Google me. You can read my reviews. You can find me online. My cell phone is the best way to get a hold of me. Unfortunately, I don't answer my phone during my inspection. So if you leave me a message, I will get back to you. But just find me online. I'm here to assist any buyer or seller or real estate agent that might be looking for some alternatives to maybe how some home inspections have been done in the past. I guarantee you that if you're there at one of my inspections, you will see some things that you've never seen before.
Yeah, and on a side note, big fan of your Instagram account, so check them out on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
It's actually how we got connected, so yeah, it's the world of social media, eh?
That's true.
Crazy.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in for another episode. Once again, check out Justin on Instagram. Google him. You'll have good things to read about and get that 3-colored report going. And as far as we go, appreciate you all tuning into another episode. Please subscribe, rate us on iTunes. And for those of you who haven't checked out our meetups, don't forget, we got monthly meetup first Monday of every month. Hope to see you there. Just reach out to us if you're not seeing the information about when, where, etc. Take care. Thank you.